Hey, howdy. So, like I said in that community post, I've got a bit of a backlog going, and I gotta act fast because there's a lot of games coming out very quickly, and I want to play as many of them as I possibly can. So let's start with the first one. So, to those who don't remember this game, this is Picayune Dreams, created by Stepford and Andy Land. It is a excellent, excellent, excellent game. I deeply enjoyed my time with the original game. I played it live a little bit, 2 streams worth, and I played a bunch of it off camera. I deeply enjoyed my time with it. There is now a massive content update. So I guess the best best thing to do is to let me bring the overdrive is basically like it's like ascension or like is a scaling difficulty modifier. It's like ascension or what's even the word for it? But one of the things that they added, I'm gonna go with, if I can find her, regular Picayune to start with. There are options for a bunch of different new suit types, and from the looks of it, a lot of these are done by guest artists as well, which is awesome. But I'm just gonna go with the stock suit. I hope that I hope the audio is fine. I really hope the audio is fine. You know what? Let's gamble. I have an idea. So, the core mechanic of this game is that it is a Vampire Survivors inspired. It's not just Vampire Survivors. The way that this game was pitched by the people that made it is basically, what if you took Tuho, Vampire Survivors, Yumaniki, and Diablo, and then combined them all together and made a game out of that? And it is a weird, weird, weird combination. But it works. It works incredibly well. Everything flows together super well. I love the story. I love the way the story is integrated into the gameplay. It all works. It all works exceptionally. Now this is a bit of a weird modifier to get to start out with. Because normally you'd have time to scale, but because this is all of the XP is front loaded. It's gonna take me a second. But I have a bit of a shopping list of upgrades that I want, and hopefully I can find a few of them in these first few. Beautiful, beautiful. When I said gambling, this is what I meant. With this statue, you trade 10 health for a random pickup. I feel like that's worth it. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, I accidentally destroyed it. Okay. I guess we roll with curse. That happens. Chain grenades are chain grenades. Volatile C4 is explosions on death. Overcharge engine is movement speed. Plasma lamp, I actually forget what it does. Let's go with plasma lamp. Not to say that movement speed is bad, but all of the fights are designed... It's Isaac rules, basically. All the fights are designed as if you have no movement speed. Also, yes, I am using auto-aim. There is technically the option to use regular mouse movement, but I've found that, especially with this weapon, it is way better to just... It is way better to just use the auto-aim and just let the game do the work for you. This is basically what would be happening if I were playing on a controller, so I'm not too worried about that. And I should probably explain what the hell's going on over on the side. So this is a new mechanic from the Contamination update. The fish stock market. Lots of bees. Lots of bees? Sure, give me bees. I'm curious. Halo's really good. Pop-up firewall. There's a bunch of stuff that I've literally never seen before. Stop cyber attacks IRF 2000? Is that what that says? Interesting. I like projectile speed. Oh, whoa! Surely this is the firewall. Funky carrot. Oh, this is... I would consider those spoilers. Let's try the bees. Oh, wait, no. That's not the firewall. That's the bees. Oh, okay. That thing on the edges of the screen is the pop-up firewall, I bet. That's cool. I like this. I like this so far. But already it's a little bit of a visual nightmare, and, you know, Vampire Survivors, it makes sense. But back to what I was saying about the insane thing going off on the side. That is the fish stock market. That is an entirely new mechanic as part of this content update. Is there's a set of upgrades that scale randomly based on Perlin noise, and the way that that's represented is by a fluctuating fish stock market, which is probably the funniest way I've ever seen something like this implemented. I love it. It's so damn funny to me, and it's also really strong. It's quite good. And to those who have never seen this game before, the way that the gameplay loop generally works is you see that the mortality rating slowly ticking up over on the side. Whenever it hits 5, it will lock at 5 until all the enemies are dead, then it will spawn a boss, and then when the boss is dead, I can move on to a new area with new gimmicks. And there is, like I said, there is plot, and the plot is quite good, but I've already accomplished the entire plot, so unfortunately we're not going to get to see much of it. But, I mean, there is some stuff that we'll get to see. There's a few bosses that I won't spoil that I've only fought once or twice each. And if I can manage to make it that far, then that will be quite cool. Because I don't know if I made this clear. I adore this game. This is... like, already before the update, this was one of my... this is probably my favorite game in this genre. And then now with the update, it's even better. So, like... kind of hard to go wrong with that. Did you watch? Am I... oh, I do still have slots. It's Vampire Survivor rules, so you only get a certain amount of unique items. I'm gonna pick the ones that I already have because I'm fishing for one or two really specific options. And here's the bunny. The rabbit, excuse me. I like to swap to manual aim here because the auto aim is just not good at tracking her. But this is that Tuho inspiration shining through, and you can especially see it in some of the later fights. The later fights are ridiculous, in a very fun way. I love the boss design in this game. And the soundtrack is amazing too. Okay, these are the fun ones. Max items +1, black hole max -1. Okay, so I have an upgrade that makes it so that I get black holes whenever I beat bosses. So this is actually not that big of a downside, and I'm looking for very specific options anyway. So I feel like that's worth. Ooh, cool. I see cool new weapon and I have to restrain myself from picking it. Max. Is that supposed to be... Okay, so I have 9 weapons right now. Max is 13. Right. I'll go fire then. Fire's good. I'm trying to remember these, Yeah, I'm trying to remember what these statues do off the top of my head, and it's not working. I think this one's the statue of trade, where you trade black holes for stuff. I could be wrong, though. That might be the... I might be thinking of the one that's like the justice scales. But yeah, things have been going well. I'm going to provisionally turn down the sound effects a bit and turn up the music a little bit. Okay, there we go. That seems excessive right now. Trust me, it will not be excessive by the end of this run. There will eventually be a lot of sound effects. While I yap. So, like I said in the post, the RPG is almost done, and frankly, I think it's basically done. I need to do one more pass with a couple of other people that I'm still waiting on for feedback. And then after that point, I'm just gonna release it. And it'll be over and it'll be done with, and I'll finally be able to present my insane machinations to the class, and I'm so excited for that. I'm probably going to make a pseudo trailer for it as well, so be on the lookout for that. There you are. There's IV bag. Okay, this is the thing that I was fishing for. IV bag is just health, so I quite like that. And injection is also something I really want. Okay, this is working very, very well. Do I got the C4 or the Walkman? The Walkman's pretty good. It's basically the bone. It's the bone projectile from Vampire Survivors, where it's a bouncing projectile that bounces back and forth between enemies and moves at like a decent speed. I'm surprised we're seeing fish already. But yeah, RPG's almost done. I'm so proud of what I've done. I'm very happy with the feedback that I've gotten from others. It seems like people like it, and also people gave me a lot of really good constructive criticism that I was able to address. I was able to address like probably 80% of it, which is good, very good numbers for that. A lot of the issues were more like broad, overarching issues that would be hard to really address without making a full project, which is my eventual plan, but I mean it would be a little hard to do for Isaac. So I'm gonna hold off for now. But I have a bunch of like I have this, not even a Google Doc. I have just like notes on my iPhone of just a bunch of ideas written down of potential projects, and I've been like tooling around with them. I have a bunch of ideas for other Isaac mods that I might eventually want to make, but I kind of want to take a break. I kind of want to take a break when it comes to making Isaac mods because I'm a little sick of it, and I don't think you can really blame me for that because I have been working basically day and night for 4 straight months on one project. That can burn anyone out. To say nothing of the people who spend multiple years working on their indie game passion project and probably never want to look at that code base again in their lives once they're through with it. I haven't quite hit that stage yet, but I am a little burnt out. So what's next? Well, I mean, the big thing is Love 2D. Ooh, more curse. Lovely. The big thing is Love 2D, which is the, it's a Lua-based engine, and it's the engine that Bellatra runs on. And I've been having some issues with, I mean, the Lua engine in general, so I feel like even if I translate it from Isaac over to Love 2D, I'm gonna have some of the same issues, but I'm fine with that. If it works, it works. At the end of the day. But beyond that, videos. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff planned. I've kind of been using that community post as a checklist, and whenever something new gets announced or I get reminded of something, I add it to the checklist. So right now, off the top of my head, some of the stuff that I will eventually be playing. Obviously this, so I think we can already like tentatively check this off the list, but I'm probably going to be doing a couple of runs of this, depending on how this goes. But these runs take a while. These runs take, like, probably... My best guess would be roughly an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how long I would have run it for. Okay, this boss might be a bit of trouble because I don't have piercing damage that really can be used against this guy. I guess the bees kind of work. But for once, this is a real boss fight. This is, I mean, in true to the spirit of Terraria-esque worm bosses, this boss can get shredded if you have the right build. Hello. Oh, come on. I can do better than that. I shouldn't be losing this much health to the worm boss. Ooh, nice. Now, I'd almost say this is the easy part because these worm segments are easier to deal with melee now, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, there we are. Sorry about that, my man. Another black hole. I think I like just having an additional black hole here, so let's go with XP. And just to address, I have a setting turned on in the options that after I've hit the max amount of items, it will just pick randomly for me. Again, it feels kind of unoptimal at first, but trust me. There will come a point where there will be so many upgrades on screen that if I don't have this option ticked, this run's gonna take 3 hours. Just off of menu time, it's gonna add another like hour and a half to the run if I don't have this option set. Trust me on that. It ain't worth the micromanaging. Even though technically I could optimize the hell out of this run, I am not that committed to a god run. And then to address something else before I start talking about games I have planned to play and make and etc. Curse for a second. Curse is just a flat percentage to spawn superpowered variants of the normal enemies, and you get Curse from destroying statues or from selecting specific character types. It's meant as a trade-off, because enemies take more hits to die, but as a result they also drop more XP. So you kind of want a lot of Curse. So like now I'm up to 1.5, so if I understand correctly, whenever an enemy spawns, it has a 1.5% chance to be like the super-powered variant. Like those big red fish are the super-powered variant of the fish enemy. But anyway, games that I'm planning on playing. There's obviously the backlogged stuff, like I will obviously want to do more Tuki, that hasn't gone away at all. I want to do more Collective Unconscious. I've been slacking on that big time. I really need to get back to Collective Unconscious, because the last time I played was before my hiatus, which, oops, that's not good. I want to get back to it. I know there's been more content added, I believe. There might have been like a update, but it's a lot slower than Tukey, because there's a lot more of like, the updates are a lot meatier and have a much higher standard of quality, so it makes sense. Ooh, beautiful. There's that. There's Tukey, Collective Unconscious. There's other fan games that I also want to try. Maybe not play all the way through, but definitely play a little bit. Like Yumi Graffiti, I wanna see, just because I adore Odin's style, and I want to see if Odin has done more stuff like that. I kind of want to play Karasis, because I've heard good things about Karasis. I also kind of want to play the like weirder ones that are a bit more like weird and out of the way and kind of oddities. I've also been considering playing LCD-DEM, but I don't think I'm going to, because there's that whole thing of Karunba and them basically asking the community before they disappeared from the internet to forget about the game and don't discuss it and don't like act like it never existed. And I feel like to a certain extent I'm obligated to honor that, but at the same time, I don't know. I do deeply, deeply love Yumaniki fan games in general. And I'm not sure what reason it was that led to it getting wiped from the internet, but I mean, it is still there. So there is the temptation to play it. I don't know. Maybe I'll play it on my own time and tell you how it is. That's a brutal pattern with this going on. Okay. The little gremlins are very dangerous. Surprisingly so. Because this area is already super cluttered without them. Also, you might be wondering why I'm going with Melee in a bullet hell game, but I mean, it reaches a point where Melee is basically the highest damage option, and it also reaches the point where it's basically just not Melee. And it's also really good against the upcoming boss and also against the final boss. So I am fine with that, with rolling with it. But anyway, what else is on the docket? 4 Heroes of Light. I swear to God, we will eventually get to a point where that game is fun to watch and fun to play. I swear to you that will happen eventually. We will get there. Or I will, like, I'll get there or die trying. Because I have nostalgia for this game for a reason. It is fun once you get to the end. And once you get, like, near the end. There's a point roughly halfway where it really starts to pick up and it gets really, really fun and interesting, but it takes so long to get there. And the in-betweens are not the best, I will admit. Ow. Come on, I can do better than that. I'm trying to focus too much on the damage here. I need to focus on dodging. And I mean, ideally it'll reach a point where I have so much extra health from my V-Bags that I won't need to worry about health, but now is not that time. I need to be careful. Oh, come on. I'm not the biggest fan of this fight. But it's not that hard at the end of the day. It's just easy to take straight hits. Scale. I like scale. Okay. So the one on the top right that kind of looks like I assumed that was like an emergency, like an axe behind glass or something. That's a door. Statue of Consequence, which gives you up to 4 free levels, but increases the boss's health and damage by 40%, which I don't really want to do. So I'm just gonna go down here and do this one. I believe the computer is a XP modifier, which is much safer and a lot better. But yeah, 4 heroes, it will eventually pick up. I swear to God, it will eventually pick up. But it's gonna take a second, is all. What else? Scarlet Hollow is another thing that's like has been on my radar for a while. I don't think I've ever mentioned it, but it is by the same people who made Slay the Princess. It is awesome. I really want to play it, and as it happens, part of the reason of what spurred me on to do this is that the big content update literally drops tomorrow. So, oops. I gotta get off my sorry ass and start playing this stuff because Scarlet Hollow thing drops tomorrow, and then the day after that is March 4th, which is when Everhood 2 launches. So, yeah, I gotta get busy. I gotta get real busy, otherwise it's gonna keep stacking up. Thank you. God, it's so easy to get overwhelmed. Especially with this, especially since I don't have Chain Belt. Chain Belt is it's like garlic from Vampire Survivors, where it's just direct damage if enemies are close to you. Which is good, but it takes a while to ramp up, and I should have picked it up when I had the chance, but we roll with the consequences. We roll with the consequences of having bees. But it's good intel for later runs to know that this item is still good, but it might not be worth picking up if there are other options available. Hello there. But yeah, Scarlet Hollow, I've heard nothing but good things, frankly. Which is, I mean, it's a visual novel, so it's kind of hard to find unbiased feedback about visual novels because, like, the narrative is front and center, and the people who make them are usually really good at writing narratives. So, I feel like you only really hear about visual novels when the stories are really, really good or really, really bad. These black holes are kind of saving my ass here. Eventually I will get powerful enough that I won't have to worry about getting overwhelmed, but that might not be for a bit, so. Hopefully my black holes last me long enough. But what else is there? There's Scarlet Hollow, which I'm very, very excited for. It's by the same people who made Slay the Princess, so I really, really, really want to play it. And there's that big update as well. There's that. There is Everhood 2, of course. Also very, very excited for that. I've stayed as spoiler-free as I possibly can, though from what I've heard, the game is roughly 2 to 3 times the length of the first game, which is insane. The first game was already pretty huge, and it had a lot of, I don't want to say Yumaniki elements, but it was definitely inspired by Yumaniki. It had, like, the, central terminal area that had that had doors that you could walk into, and a lot of, like, weird psychedelia and Aztec symbology. It is very Yumaniki. And I've heard that they lean more heavily into it in Everhood 2, which has me super, super, super excited. And I'm also, it leaves me curious, what the hell is the deal? What's the story gonna be? How do you even follow up on a story like Everhood's story? Just like mechanically, how do you do that? Because, well, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's one of those games like Hotline Miami 2, where you look at it and you go, okay, how on earth could there be a third game in this series? Okay, the Walkman is actually kind of carrying me here. I know it doesn't necessarily look like it, but having those projectiles on the inside are really good. Okay, Alexis, the demon boss, is the first actual bullet hell boss. Oh god, I have plenty of health, so I'll be fine. But this is a tough fight. I need to find the there's the curve. I think I'd say this might be the hardest boss to no hit. I'm not sure. It's either this or boss 5. Oh god, that is hard to hit on the rebound. There we go. I don't have any black holes left either. Come on. Just get better at the game. Yeah, that sucked. But it's this is basically over. I need movement. I need movement speed. I've been losing a lot of it. Um, that's not the one that I hate. There's one in particular that fires projectiles, one enemy in these like distributions, and it is deeply frustrating to deal with, and I'm already not doing great, so if possible I want to try to avoid it. Yeah, this is the one that explodes into bullets on Cardinals. It's not that bad. I should take a second to explain the plot of this game. Because like a lot of other factors in this game, it is sort of a mishmash of several different things. Most notably Evangelion. The overarching plot of this game revolves around a set of five people, roughly teenage age, though maybe like a smidge older than that, who are tasked with saving the Earth from a corruption called the Aberration. We don't know much about it. All we know that it is this deeply powerful ancient evil in space, and there have been task forces sent in the past to try to deal with it. None of them have survived, and our subset is the most recent set to go. And if you couldn't tell, things go poorly. I'll leave the specifics for when I can actually show that boss, because we are almost up to the final boss, assuming that I live that long. I need to start. Okay, I need to start moving, I think, is what this has taught me. Because if I stand still, I'm just going to get overwhelmed with this build. But hey, This is why I picked up IV bags. IV bags give me a massive cushion to let me screw around a little bit more, which is something I highly value in video games. I love the ability to fuck around and find out, especially in a high difficulty environment like this. But back to the games that I still want to play. There's a couple of other ones. Other Yumaneki fan games. There's a little bit more of Rift of the Necrodancer that I want to do. It is kind of a gimmick, but I want to do it. I want to upload just all of the music with Shopkeeper, because I don't think I've seen anyone do that yet. Because to those of you who haven't played Crypt of the Necrodancer or Rift, there's a Shopkeeper mode. The Shopkeeper sings along with the music, and it is hilarious. His name is Freddie Merchantry, and he is amazing. But he's there in Crypt. They added him in Rift of the Necrodancer as well, but it's sort of as a it's like a bonus mode. He pretty clearly was not designed to be to be present in that game. But there's something very charming about it. It reminds me of when I was in chorus. It reminds me of just like screwing around with friends, and like someone starts singing something and then someone else makes up a harmony part for it. And it's usually not very good, but it's still very fun. That's sort of the vibe that I get from it. But like some of the harmonies aren't the best, but it's the kind of thing where they needed to make the Shopkeeper part not just the melody of the piece. And most of those pieces are not designed to have more than one or two parts, because the second part is usually just the percussion. But it's still good, and I recorded a 2-hour-long contiguous session of just me silently playing through all of the levels on impossible mode using the autoplay, and just recorded the Shopkeeper in every single one of them. So that'll be a funny upload. And then beyond that, even there's a lot of RPG Maker games that I do eventually want to go and play, and not RPG Maker games, but also just indie RPGs in general. I'm not sure how much I'll end up liking a lot of them, because some of them strike me as kind of they've got problems. Some of them do, but they are beloved, and I feel like a lot of them deserve a fair shake, because a lot of them haven't really been addressed in over 15 years, because there was that flash in the pan when a bunch of horror YouTubers went, you know what? What if we just kept playing RPG Maker games? Anyways, Picayune. So I'm going to attempt to explain this while I'm, currently fighting for my life, but these patterns aren't awful, so I think I'll be able to. So, the deal with Picayune is Picayune was the leader of the expedition. Hang on. Let me chunk down the weapon visibility so it's a little easier to see the bullets. Oh, come on. Right off the bat, really? This is not the place to be getting hit. So, Picayune. Picayune is the leader of the expedition, and she became one with the ancient evil, and now this is happening. But there's a sort of second layer to the story that over the course of the team performing the mission, they started to realize that something wasn't quite right, and that the readings from the aberration were way stronger than what was previously mentioned. by their government sponsors. As it turns out, they were completely lied to, and the aberration's power was roughly 2 or 3 magnitudes greater than what it was supposed to be. And it led to the entire crew losing their lives and their minds, with Picayune swearing vengeance against the government that basically just tossed them in as fish food. And this is why I have auto-aim turned on, because damn, this fight is hard. It gives me more time to yap. And that leads you back to the question of who the hell this character is, then, because this character is actually not Picayune, technically. I don't think I have this 100% correct, but to my understanding, the character that we're playing as is named Syl, and they're basically a android made in the image of Picayune. That's a android super soldier with the sole purpose of ending the aberration and stopping Picayune. Now there ends up being a sort of war of ideals here, because Syl is also ostensibly working for that same government. So you have the option to either root out the corruption in its entirety, which means subjecting all of these characters to endless suffering because the aberration does not die, or working together with Picayune to end the aberration in a different way. Now, there is a way to do that. But it is very hard. To my memory, the way that you do it is you have to beat all 5 of the main bosses of the game without taking damage. Pretty sure taking damage during the enemy encounters is fine, but during the bosses, they have to be flawless. Pretty sure black holes are okay, too. The bees are actually crazy here. Oh, come on. Just as I say the bees are good, she doesn't attack. That means that I can't get close. That's sad. I have to wonder how this build is going to scale, because it's already doing a lot worse than my previous builds that I've had. Because I had a previous build that was able to just completely demolish this fight. Like, I didn't need to scale up any further, because by the time I got this far, Picayune died in like 20 seconds, and then I was able to just move on to the next phase. And then the next phase took 20 seconds, and then the next phase after that. It was kind of absurd, and I carried on into later on in the game, and just kept cruising. But this is more of like a normal run, which scares me a little bit. I love this. Hang on, this attack is hilarious. Yep, that's a black hole check. That sounds mean, but the game does give you a black hole ahead of time just for that attack. I like that it actually highlights the asteroid that has the black hole in it now. It didn't used to do that. So there is the chance that you just completely blind it and then get hit by an unblockable attack. Come on. And we're good. Rest in peace, Picayune. Okay. So now we get to the scary part. Theoretically, I could end my run here. I could go back to Earth, and that would be the end of the run, and I could stop. But we're just getting started. Also, can I just say, I love the music. The music is so good. The soundtrack is done by Milky Possum, and it is incredibly good. I'm not usually like a breakcore jungle enjoyer. I don't know if that's the exact name for this genre, but I'd say it's close. It's break something. But it's good. It's real good. Somehow, even though I'm not usually a fan of this sort of genre, it works. It works really well. I have a bunch of halos, thankfully, so even if I get hit, it's not going to make too much of a difference. We're reaching the point where the curse is starting to become a major problem, but the plan is that eventually I will do so much damage and have just basically just a big stick that I can wave around that will make it so that even the curse enemies can't get close to me. Don't ask me how long that's gonna take. I might be dead before then. I need to like move in small circles because there is one of the upgrades gives you a fire rate boost while you're not standing still, which is helpful. But it's a little awkward to manage. Because like using it optimally, you'd be like jittering back and forth constantly, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, the bees are not amazing. They're definitely doing their job, but I've seen other weapons do way more for way less, so maybe next run I won't be picking them up. And I suppose there will be next runs. Because I'm gonna be honest, maybe my outlook on this run changes. I don't think I'm making it all the way to the boss that I want to make it to. Excuse me. No, I don't want your advertising. What the hell was? I've never even seen these enemies. That looks sick. All these enemies look sick. Did I mention that this game's art style is incredibly good? It's all done by, I mean, I assume the bulk of it is done by Andy Land, who is a experimental animator and musician, and all of his stuff is awesome. I love his work. And part of the reason why I learned about this project is because I have a friend who's super into like indie YouTube animators, and I assume he learned about it through him. He learned about it. My friend learned about it through Andy Land because he was involved in this project. But the art style is really nice. It's very crunchy. Okay, this is the high that I was referring to. Look at that. look at the stock. I know it's hard to see what's going on. But that can get all the way up to where the mortality text is. So that's only roughly halfway up where it could potentially be. Okay, never mind. I guess it's not up there anymore. So you might wonder who the bosses are going to be. Well, so I mentioned that all of these kids were lost to the aberration. Well, the aberration will not let them die. This is the part that gets really warped. No matter what happens, they cannot be killed. They will just be regenerated. Okay, I need to get closer to the boss. This is just a 2-ho pattern. I'm happy about that. I've never actually played a 2-ho. Maybe I should at some point, because I do very much like the gameplay of this game. And I've heard that 2-ho has, I mean, obviously it has very, very cool, interesting, unique bullet patterns, and a very whimsical, goofy story, which I'm kind of a fan of. Oh, there you are. Oh, that's rough. Okay. Again, no promises on how far I'm gonna make it here. These bosses do genuinely get really, really hard. And the IV bags are a nice cushion. I think I have roughly 80 extra health right now. Maybe a little bit more. And combine that with one of the upgrades, chrome plating, makes you take 1 less damage from everything. No less than 1, I suppose. And those two things in tandem... Why did I just say it like that? Those two things in tandem mean that I have a lot more HP than I normally would. But I'm not immortal. And some of these later bosses are just going to pummel me if I don't dodge well. This is a cool attack, because depending on how I dodge, the bullet patterns are going to be different. Side to side. Oh, those linger. I didn't think about that. Right, they're green bullets, so I suppose it makes sense. I like the color coding on the bullets. I feel like that's a nice touch. Okay, we're almost there. And we got it. Okay. Projectile speed, reduced weapon size, pickup radius, decreased black hole max. Let's use this. Projectile speed. Blender, soul. Oh, trade. That's actually not bad here. It's a bit scary because I'm not trading in all of my stuff, but I would be comfortable trading in a few of them. Oh right, these goobers are warpers. Okay, that is scary, and that also means that they're going to show up for the rest of the run now that they popped up once, which is a little menacing, but I think I'll be fine. Whoa. This is a fun thing to do in this is a fun thing to record. Because normally I would just be resting on my laurels, looking up random crap on YouTube, passing the time. Because these runs do in fact go for a really long time. If you have a good run. Yeah, that's a bomb for sure. I mean, you know, I kind of just want to bomb this. Because I'm not trading in any of these black holes, but the free level is nice and it's a little bit more curse, so. Continuing to climb upwards towards whatever might be next. Though I will say, this game works really, really, really well with its concepts. Because there's that recurring thought as you're playing through other games in the genre of, well, how the hell could a game in this genre have a story? Like, roguelikes in general. There's so much mental gymnastics that has to be done to make a roguelike story actually work. And God knows so many different people have tried to make it make sense and not just feel like okay, this is a video game, so runs keep happening. Whether it's like Purgatory or a time loop, or I think Hades might be my favorite way that they've made it work, because you know, you're the god of the dead, so even if you die, you can just come back. And dying is a core part of getting parts of the story. Hades does it with a lot of grace. But even stuff like Isaac, it feels a little hand-wavy as to why. I mean, you know, you're a tortured soul, purgatory, etc., etc. It doesn't super work, especially when there are endings that show Isaac like coming to terms and coming to peace with all the horrible things that have happened to him. And then you boot up another run and it's like, okay, well, what was the point of any of that? But this game, This game does also does a very good job at motivating that sort of gameplay loop. Because after a certain point, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, this upcoming boss scares me, because this upcoming boss is, the Aberrant Worm. Mark II. I mean, the character's name is Mark, so it is Mark II. I'm not a fan of these warpers, gotta say. They're not that dangerous, but they're so much more clutter than would normally be. Hello? I need to be ready for those orbits of enemies when they come, because they are dangerous. I need bombs for the boss though. I can't waste any on the enemies here. This is why I packed Halo. Oh, I am completely surrounded. That's not good. Oh. Yeah, this boss might get ugly, because I have no form of crowd control that really works well. Yep, because of that. It spawns a bunch of skulls. Whatever, go my skulls. Where are you? There you are. I can sort of, like, cause the homing attacks to beat up and then dodge away from them. Oh! Okay, I just took real damage. That's a problem. Oh, come on. This thing has an ungodly amount of health, which is concerning, because I don't do a ton of damage right now. And I can sort of rack damage as I move along the worm's body, but it has so much health. it's so hard to do anything meaningful to it. It's also immune to stun now, and I think all the bosses from here on are going to be completely immune to those kinds of status effects. Hello. This extra damage output will definitely help. I destroyed a segment. A skittle. Okay, that's my exit. Okay, rule number 1 of bullet hells: when in doubt, just stand still and just stop panicking. Just take a moment to collect yourself. I mean, I appreciate that they went completely insane with the design of this boss, considering that this is probably the easiest of the main bosses normally. There's another Bone Storm. Oh god. If this thing splits, I'm going to die. I guess I have so much health that it's not going to be easy, but I will... it will do a ton of damage to me. Ow. We got bones. I mean, hey, I complain, but it's kind of a miracle this run has worked as long as it has, which, you know, it's kind of a very common complaint with roguelikes, is that there are some runs that are just worse. Where you kind of just fall on your ass, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that. You can get good, but after a certain point, even getting good will not save you. Especially in a game like this. Some stuff like the bones are just almost impossible to avoid if you get in a bad situation. Because they soak up all your bullets and you can't really dodge around them because they home in on you. But I think we are fine, but this did take a while. My guess at the present moment is that I'm going to make it to Harley and then die. I'm going to make it to the motorcycle girl and then instantly eat dirt, because that boss is very hard. Because maybe it goes without saying, but there are 5 bosses in this sort of repertoire, and all of them are buffed up, aberrant versions of themselves. And we're golden. Wait. Golden brown? Now we're golden. Excuse me. Ooh, crits. Okay, so the enemy on both sides on the right, that enemy is the enemy that I want to avoid at all costs. So I'm gonna go with the ghost over here. Or excuse me, the little like parasite soul, and not the ghost up top, because the ghost up top is terrifying. I have never seen that. I wonder what that actually is. I guess I'm a very long distance away from my starting position, so that would make sense. that it would find something weird out here. But I don't know what that actually did. I don't know, maybe that unlocks a weapon? Man, I'm kicking myself. If I had Chain Belt right now, this run would be going crazy. But I don't, so just the way that it goes, I should have been more diligent with my shopping list. I'll tell you what. Statue of Potential has the potential to give me Chain Belt if I'm lucky. And luck is really all I have to go off of right now. Chain Belt. Okay, now we're in business. Now I just need to upgrade it. And I don't want to use the statue anymore, but having one extra slot was exactly what I needed. Thank you for your time. Just enemies are just lasting so long. It is a problem. I want to curse my enemy's name, but I don't know their name. This is a problem. Oh, I'm out of black holes. Oh, this is really bad. This is really bad. Okay. Okay. Start moving. I don't know where I'm going, but anywhere that's not in the midst of enemies. Yeah, this is bad. The scaling is starting to catch up with me. Okay, that was my computer. Don't mind that. It does that sometimes. Irrespective of what game I'm playing, from what I can tell, it just does that sometimes. I don't know if that's a sign that I need to clean out my fan or something, but I wouldn't be surprised because I don't think I ever have. But yeah, this is it. This is definitely it. I'm getting pummeled. I'm just gonna backtrack a little bit. Because maybe I can pick up the XP that I left behind and eke out a few more levels and maybe that will help. But I kinda doubt it. Yeah, it ain't looking great. Yeah, my HP is now at 10, so I can take 2 more hits. Okay, I can take 1 more hit. Okay, I'm dead. Okay. Well, that was still a really good run. Don't be mistaken. I still beat the run, but there are higher planes to ascend to that I couldn't quite make it to. Plasma lamp, pop-up firewall, lots of bees, and that was Overdrive 1. That was Overdrive 0. Good lord. Okay, so this is what I just got. And I'm not going to scroll down super far because, you know, there are massive, massive, massive spoilers down there. And I don't... I want to... I want to savor those for when those are actually going to happen. But yeah, that's all I got for now. I will definitely be doing more of this because this game is a blast. Thanks so much for watching.